Greetings and welcome to Connecting with the Intent Show. I'm your host Muhammad Awais. On this episode, we have a very amazing personality. She is the author of the Theory Language Alter Ego, founder of Mo Lingua and Lingo Plus, Ekaterina Matveeva. Please join me to give a warm welcome to our guest, Ekaterina Matveeva. Ekaterina, welcome.
Hi everyone. Hi, Awais. How are you? How's your day?
Let me start with this. Where were you? What happened? Who were you surrounded with that inspired you to do what you do today?
Oh, thank you so much for this question. Um, you know, as I'm coming from a multicultural family, so I was exposed to different cultures since very early age. And when I was a teenager, I was around 14, 15, I was on a student trip and we were going around Europe, like European countries, mostly Central Europe, Northern Europe. And what was peculiar about this trip that I had to stay with host families. And there, while staying with them, I noticed how different families, different people in all these cultures, like in France or in the UK or in the Netherlands, would do completely different routine. They would have their own rituals that would be local, yeah, specific for those cultures. And that time I realized, first of all, just my English or Polish or any basic level of language that I knew wouldn't be enough to survive in those countries because not everyone, spoke English, for instance. And I realized that I had to adjust culturally to those locations. And after that trip, I got so inspired that within like 3, 4 months, like during winter, I was dreaming about founding my own school, my own multilingual, multicultural center. I put down that information just, in my journal and put it away. And I didn't look at it for like a decade. And then, yeah, here we are. So that was the story.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. So what is your higher purpose in life?
That's such a profound question. I would say that for the past years, it's been to create a better connected, multicultural, multilingual world. And when I say about this better connected, what I mean that we feel that we are all different because of languages, cultures, and well, other differences. At the same time, we are quite similar, right? So we need to find this balance of how similar we are and how different we are, and then connect on those differences and similarities.
What have been top three greatest challenges that you have had to overcome?
Oof, I've had quite a lot of challenges, and I still, still overcoming them. But I must say, as an entrepreneur and also as a researcher, other young woman, that one of the biggest challenges has been about withstanding the pushback. Whenever a young entrepreneur, and as well a female entrepreneur, comes up with new ideas, there is a pushback, maybe from investors, maybe even from a close circle. Somebody who doesn't believe in you, doesn't believe in your ideas. It happened to me many times, especially when I was younger, because I was always, a little bit faster, a little bit like know-it-all girl. So I had to live with that doubt from people, and learn to believe in myself and my ideas, and just be patient and perseverant. So I still continue pushing, overcoming this challenge. But two more challengers, tough to pick. Perhaps one of them, it's about persuading people around. Again, when we talk about partners, backers, investors, that certain concepts, certain trends are more important than they think. One of very good examples coming from UK, like British investors who a few years ago would tell me, culture? What do you mean by culture? Why would you need culture? Culture and education. Everybody wants to speak English. No culture, no need. Which was really frustrating. And even up to now, when I've already encountered a lot of like-minded people, right, partners, I still from time to time have to persuade certain groups of people. And I understand that it takes courage and it takes as well stubbornness to do it. And it's important if we want to change this world. So I believe those two are the biggest ones. The third one probably is again connected to some sort of like inner, let's say, um, inner, because they say like traumas, right? That we all have some psychological traumas that we have to overcome in order to become who we are or to become better versions of ourselves. So I feel that this is something, that I've been working with, just about certain concepts. Oh, what is a concept of money? What is a concept of wealth, right? An entrepreneur, what is a success for an entrepreneur? So I believe those also like challenging certain concepts that were passed to me by my parents or by my grandparents, different generations. Challenging this concept has been, quite challenging because, like, well, challenging. But the idea is that often we need to change the concept in order to move forward, in order to develop ourselves, in order to evolve and reach the next level. So I believe those three.
What is your greatest failure story? What did you learn and how did you recover from it?
um, there've been like a lot of failures when you're starting your entrepreneurial journey. You will definitely face so many challenges and failures. One of such failures comes to my mind a few years ago, pre-pandemic. I was in a situation when certain contracts got delayed, and I was waiting for a revenue to come in, and also I had expenses. As usual, business. And what happened that suddenly I realized that I didn't have enough to cover salaries, to cover expenses, this and that. And to make things worse, at that time I came to Mexico and Guatemala. So I was organizing their conference and I had to go back to UK. And I didn't have even money to go back and also to participate in some conferences. I was terrified. I was ready to do anything in a way, like how to turn the situation around. So I was saying, okay, if I need to save some money, I would stay somewhere in Mexico and wait, for these delayed contracts. And what happened was just one conversation. Um, I had a call with one of our clients. At that time, it was like more like B2C, B2B. So, client was an investor who studied with us on language programs, like working on his pronunciation and all. And he liked the first module of the program so much that during our call, when I was collecting our internal feedback, he told me, you know what? First of all, I want to continue. I want to jump on the next module. And second, I'd like to publish a review on my social media. So if you need more clients, yeah, that's your chance. But talking about, challenges and inner traumas, at that time I said, oh, thank you so much. So kind of you. We're all right. So I literally shut him down while I was still in that drastic situation. And when we finished our call, I talked to myself and said, no, wait a second. You're not doing this right. Let's reverse. Let's come back. So I wrote him a letter as a follow up, an email saying, you know what, on the second thought, it would be really appreciated if you could publish this review on social media. And then, as soon as I sent this email, I didn't know what would happen. I was quite terrified. And I remember how I was meeting friends, and within an hour, I started receiving dozens and dozens of LinkedIn requests. I couldn't understand what was happening. Turned out that client published a review straight away as soon as he saw our email, so my email, and yeah, he brought clients within a week, like 3 times of our monthly revenue. That's how the situation was turned around. And what I learned from this situation was that If things are bad, if you need help, always ask for help. And especially if you have nice clients, so clients who actually like your product or your service and are willing, well, to do something to help you. Maybe they even don't know what's going on, what kind of situation, what are the stakes. But if they're willing to help, accept this help and you'll see miracles happen.
Wow, amazing. What is the most impactful book you have read and what did you learn from it?
I read a lot, and it's quite difficult to say which one. However, um, so many years ago, I think it was like 9 years ago. So um, I was once an accelerator in Scotland. The accelerator was called Acorns, and its director, Callum with K, um, shared with me a few books. And one of them was E Myth. I think it was E Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. And I remember how it was like the end of the year, Christmas time, cold. I was sick and I was reading that book. And it was brilliant for me. Just the right pick. Why so? If you're an entrepreneur who's converted from specialist, so let's say you're good at baking, right? You're baking pies and you want to convert it into business, you need to understand how to build processes and how to pass your knowledge, let's say your expertise, to other people, to your team, to employees. And there in that book, there was this strategy, how to do it with great case studies and examples. And I identified myself with one of the girls there. Is coming from academia, being a specialist and teaching languages and cultures, being a linguist. For me, in the past, it was about building a business to have clients myself, basically, the specialist. However, when I got on the road of startups and growing business, I realized that it's not just about looking for clients for myself, it's actually by building processes, methodology that can be shared with my employees, with my colleagues, partners, business partners. And there, we could grow this business. And after reading that book, I remember how I started seeing new strategy for my company and Lingua. And years passed, and I believe I'm still building certain processes, like I'm improving them, but it's not a specialist business anymore. And also thanks to this book.
What are your goals for the next 12 months?
There's so many goals, and when you set goals, or there's always something that happens like outside of your control. And I feel that it's good to double check with yourself maybe every 3 months whether you're still on track to these goals, and whether these goals are still relevant. Maybe another pandemic, something hits you. But the goals, this year we've been developing contracts, partnerships with universities in US, Latam, and Central Asia, and we are launching programs, like learning programs and partnerships. So I feel that those programs are within these goals. How we launch these programs, how we launch first and second cohorts, and how we strengthen these partnerships. This is like the most important, I believe. Mhm.
What advice you will give to younger yourself?
Oof, tough. I'd say it's all about, you know, keeping going. Like stay calm, yeah, and keep going. It's about knowing that everything is temporary, whether it's good or bad. Everything, comes and goes. Meaning that if it's good, something good is happening, wonderful, enjoy it, take the most out of it, and just accept that it may go, and it's fine, just let it go. And if something bad is happening, uh, certainly you're stronger than you think, and There's always help, and help even in those places where you never thought that you would find this help. And just, yeah, keep calm, keep going, and this bad situation or bad period would pass.
That's a great advice. How can we support
Thank you.
you?
Sure. Um, Look for me on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. So my name, Katrina Matveeva. Also my theory, language alter ego, the company, Summalingua and Lingua Plus. If you are in space of education, please connect. Happy to talk. If you are in corporate space and you're in international business, happy to talk with you how we could bring your team together, like from all over the globe, right? And enter new markets in foreign languages and cultures. Yeah, thank you.
What would you say about your guest appearance on the show?
Always, I believe it's well structured. You know what you're looking for from your guests. I think it's a very well organized experience, and I appreciate uh, your punctuality, your management skills. I believe, yeah, you're a great host. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I really appreciate you for this. What closing thoughts would you like to share with our listeners?
Um, I believe we all need to have our personal mottos that drive us, help us move forward. One of my mottos is 3D: dream, decide, do. So, what I wish you is to dream, decide, and do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ekaterina, for sharing your wisdom with us today. On the behalf of Connecting with the Intent Community and our entire team, we really appreciate you. This is Muhammad West. Until the next episode, all good wishes.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. Uh, Dear viewers, listener, thank you so much for watching. Happy to connect with you. Bye.